Hi everybody, welcome back. Greetings to you all. This is David Raju Kulluri, Associate Professor, Department of CSC from St. Peter's Engineering College. In this video, today we are going to see the basic structure of C program. Before discussing the basic structure of C program, first of all, I would like to thank Almighty God for this wonderful opportunity. In this basic structure of C program, total 8 sections are there. The first one is documentation section. Second one, link section. Third one, definition section. Fourth one, global declaration section. Fifth one, main function section. Under that main function section, sixth one, declaration part, and seventh one, executable part. Last but not least, subprogram section we will see. Before discussing the basic structure of C program, first of all, what is meant by a program? Why we need to write the program? Why we need to follow this particular basic structure? A program is a set of instructions that are used to solve the given problem. If you want to solve any problem by using computer, we are supposed to write the program. If you want to write the program to solve a particular problem, we are supposed to use this particular basic structure. So whatever the problem given to us, that problem or that program decomposed into several sub-problems, also called as functions. Those sub-problems can be solved in the form of functions, and those functions comes under subprogram section. So all that subprogram section is also called as user-defined function, that you can see in this particular diagram. This is about the main problem will be decomposed into different sub-problems. This is called main problem, and this main problem will be decomposed into different sub-problems, and those sub-problems divide into sub-problems, and each and every sub-problem will be solved separately in the form of functions. Then first we will see the documentation section. Documentation section includes different comment lines. This section can be used to write the name of the program, or the name of the problem, the author name. To write the name of the problem or program name or the author name, generally we will use two types of comment lines. That is, first one is double slash. The first one is double slash or slash star star slash. If you want to convert multiple lines into comment lines, then we will use the slash star star slash. Or if you want to write only a single line, then we will use a double slash. If you write these comment lines in the program, we can read very easily. That is, the readability of the program and the understandability of the program will be increased. Simple example, that is addition of two numbers. This is the name of the program written by so and so David Raju. I can write author name also within these comment lines, and these comment lines we can write anywhere in the program. So generally, to describe each and every statement of the program, we'll use these comment lines. Without any restriction, you can write these comment lines anywhere in the program. And this section, documentation section, not compulsory to write a program, it's an optional. The second one, a link section. Second one, we will see a link section. This link section generally starts with a special symbol called hash. This section is used to write or include different header files in the program. Generally, all header files are part of the system library. This system library is also called as C library. And all these header files contains different predefined functions. Before using these predefined functions to perform so and so task in our program, first we are supposed to include header files in our program. A simple example to write header files in our program, that is hash include stdio.h. This hash include is also called as a preprocessor directive. It is also called as preprocessor directive. A preprocessor directives generally gives somewhat directions to the compiler. That you can see, this preprocessor directive gives somewhat directions to the compiler. What is the job of the compiler? Compiler converts high-level language into low-level language. Before converting high-level language into low-level language, whatever instructions given or whatever the directions given by this particular preprocessor directive, accordingly this compiler will process that particular program. That is called preprocessor. Whatever the preprocessor directions given to compiler, accordingly that will perform. And third one, we will see a definition section. This definition section is not compulsory, but this definition section is used to define different symbolic constants. To define different symbolic constants, the preprocessor directive used here is has defined. So simple example, has define is preprocessor directive over here, and this pi is called a symbol, and 3.141 over here it is called a constant. To define this constant with so and so symbol, this preprocessor directive has defined it to be used. Another example, has defined size 60. So while defining the symbolic constants in our program, we are not supposed to use assignment operator in between constant as well as symbol, and this statement should not be terminated with a semicolon. We need to keep these 2 points in our mind while defining symbolic constants by using has defined preprocessor directive statement. That is about the definition section. It's not compulsory. This section is also an optional. Wherever required, then only we will use this particular section. Then coming to fourth section, that is called global variable or global declaration section, which is used to declare and define different global variables. To declare and define global variables, these variables need to be specified or included, or we need to write these variables before main function. Whatever the variables declared and defined before main function are called global variables. Always these global variables are common to all functions. all functions including main function. So here in this main function defined, now after this, if any subprogram section not defined over here, but if you define all these functions like function 1, function 2, and n number of functions, for example, defined in our program, and these values can be accessed, all these functions without any restriction, because these global values or variables are common to all. Then coming to fifth one, main function section is a very important function, that is main function. This function is also called as a user defined function with a predefined template. A user defined function with a predefined template. Why we are calling it as user defined function with a predefined template? Whatever the statements are written under main, so this is called main function, and this is a simple example. In this example, whatever the statements are written under main, those statements written by user, to write all these statements, the compulsory function is main function, so it is called a predefined template. So without predefined template, main, we cannot write all these statements. If you, with the help of main, if you want to write something, those statements need to be included in between open brace as well as closing brace under main function. So whatever the statements written in between open brace, closing brace under this particular main function are called user defined statements. That's why it is called user defined function with the predefined template. So actual execution of the program starts from always from this particular main function only. So instead of main, if you define, if you use rain or train, whatever it may be, it's merely waste. So the compulsory name, the compulsory predefined name is main only. So that's why always while writing a program, we need to use this particular main function. And meanwhile, to write any program, the minimum number of functions, required here is one. That function is called main function. That function is called main function. So that is about main function. Main function is also called as user defined with a predefined template. Then coming to local variable declaration section. This local variable declaration section comes under main function, that is this one, int a comma b comma c. These three are variables called local variables. So defined, declared under main. This section is called local variable declaration section, which is used to declare local variables. So once compiler encounters these variables, immediately compiler allocates memory for all these variables. That is about local variable declaration section. Then coming to executable part. So under this main function, other than declaration part, all statements comes under executable part, that is giving, assigning value, defining values, performing so and so task, that is multiplication of two numbers, and displaying with the help of printf statement. All these statements comes under executable part only. So that is other than declaration part. It is called executable part or executable statements, which is used to write the logic of the program. Program logic will be included in this particular part, that is called executable part, also called as executable statements. Then last but not least, that is subprogram section. The subprogram section, this part is called subprogram section, which includes different functions. These are n number of functions part of the subprogram section. There is no restriction. You can define n number of functions under this particular subprogram section. And these functions, that is the subprogram section, is also called as user-defined functions. And subprogram section contains set of functions. These functions are also called as user-defined functions that are used to perform different types of tasks. And under this subprogram section, we can have n number of function to perform n different types of tasks. These functions can be defined. These functions can be defined. We need to keep this particular point in our mind. These functions can be defined either before main or after main. It doesn't matter. If these functions are defined before main, then no need to declare these functions. If these functions defined after main, function declaration need to be specified either globally or locally. That is about a subprogram section. So we discussed so far a documentation section, a link section, a definition section, global declaration section, main function section, under that declaration part, executable part, then finally subprogram section. So if you want to write any program to solve a particular problem, these sections plays vital role. By keeping all these sections in our mind, whatever may be the problem given to us, we can write the program, and by executing that particular program, we can obtain the required output. That is the end of the basic structure of C program. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe my channel, that is Teach to Reach. Thank you all.